Welcome. This is Shelby Dickinson from Spokane Community College. Thanks for joining us for our information session today. You may be in various stages of the process and taking steps with Spokane Community College. You may have applied already. You may be seeking out a bit more information before you take that step to apply. Either way, we're glad to have you with us. We hope we can answer some questions for you today. So let's go ahead and dive right in. First and foremost, we always like to let you know contact information for us. I have our outreach email listed there. That's a great way to send some questions to us. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. We have several staff members checking that email address. We also want to make sure you know we have several rural campus locations through SCC. Now, each of these locations doesn't offer the full gamut of all of our programs that we have at SCC, but they do have their own offerings, so it's worth looking up on our website to find a little more or emailing Northern Counties at scc.spokane.edu. So why choose SCC? Why are we a good decision for you? First and foremost, we do have very small class sizes. Our instructor to student ratio is about 1 to 21, which means you're getting a lot of one-on-one interaction with that instructor. And that's important because the statistics tell us students do better with smaller class sizes. They're more successful when they have more access to that instructor. Second thing, the big thing we're known for is our college savings. We are a very affordable option for you to get started on your path to a career, maybe to further education, whatever it might be. And we'll talk a little more detail about our costs later on. Student support. It is really important to us that our students feel supported and feel like they have access to all of the resources needed in order to excel in their classes. So again, we'll talk a little bit more later on in the presentation about those specific support systems that we have in place for you to feel successful here as a student. And then pretty unique to SCC is we have a lot of great short-term certificate options for you to participate in. Some of those as short as 5.5 weeks to get certified in truck driver training, for instance, CDL. That's one of our great options that we have for students to be able to complete quickly and go out and start working and start making money. So keep that in mind if you're not someone who wants to spend forever in school. We may have the right fit for you. Some points I always like to make about who comes to SCC, who's eligible to participate in school with us. SCC is what we call open enrollment, which just means that any individual who completed high school or their GED, graduated, has a diploma, is going to be accepted to SCC. It's not a matter of sending us your transcript and being evaluated based upon how well you did in high school. We don't look at that. It's just proving that you did complete and you're prepared to take that step. But we don't cap our enrollment at any point and say, nope, we have enough students, we're not going to accept anymore. You will be admitted as long as you've met these requirements. Tuition, I mentioned I was going to talk about this a little bit more. Almost $1,400 is the cost for a full-time student. That's 12 to 18 credits for 1 quarter. So you're looking at around $4,000 for just tuition to attend with us in 1 year. And that's actually very, very affordable. If you've ever looked to some of the four-year schools and their college tuition, it's pretty great in comparison. So keep that in mind if you're doing your research, and cost is important. This is true for most of us. We'd like to save some money, so we can be a great starting point. And then fees, I didn't include those in the cost of tuition, but they are their own thing that you'll have to pay as a student with us, usually a little over $100 for those fees. And they're things related to attending school that our students have voted on having included. Things like a bus pass, for instance, that's $22 that's built into your fees so that you can have free access to Spokane Transit Authority. Of course, you've paid for it, $22 worth, but then you have unlimited access to using the bus line as long as you're enrolled in classes. Things like books are going to cost additionally on top of your tuition as well. Those will vary a bit depending on which courses you're taking, but keep that in mind. Don't want you to be surprised. And then a parking pass. This is a totally optional cost for our students who are going to be bringing their own vehicles to campus. We do require that you pay for parking, and it's pretty darn convenient at SCC. We usually have really good availability of parking, and the parking pass only ends up being about 28 bucks per quarter, which is very good in my opinion, as I've worked at plenty of other institutions where it can be a lot more expensive than that. So let's talk about those student supports a little bit more. We have a lot of different things on campus to help you feel supported as you're going to school. One I always like to make mention of are food pantries. That's a spot that you can visit several times a quarter in order to get perishable, sometimes and often non-perishable items in order to just help you get through in your quarter. Groceries can be an expensive thing to pay for, and when you're already paying for school, it's nice to have this resource available to you. They'll set you up if you want to visit them. They're in building 6 on campus. Our library, they have tons of great resources in here. Just a good spot to go in if you need help with a research project, finding some scholarly reviews for a certain class, writing a paper, whatever it may be. Our librarians would love to help you with it. We also have an awesome library of things where you can rent some random items that you may not have if you're a first time living on your own, like a vacuum cleaner, for instance. You probably don't want to go out and buy a new Dyson, super expensive, but you may just need to run a vacuum in your apartment. So come in and check one out using your student ID card. It's totally free to you. Anything that's in there is free game. Our tutoring center, this is where you can go and get help with specific classes. Math and English are probably the most popular classes that students are needing help with, that writing support and the math support. Our students who are tutors are ones who have excelled in the classes that they're assisting students through. And right now they do a really good job of virtual tutoring as well. If that's something you want to take advantage of, it's completely free to you as a student. Counseling, they are located in the same spot in building 1 as our tutoring center. That's where you can go in and do some degree planning, talk to an academic counselor about what courses you need for the upcoming quarter. They'd love to see you once a quarter to just make sure you're on track for your planning. We also have mental health counselors available to you. You can even request an appointment for mental health counseling through our website, and that's again free for you as a student as well. So please take advantage of that. We do have a Pride Center for our LGBTQ plus students on campus. They're a very active group who's doing all kinds of event planning, making sure there's great awareness on campus, just a safe space for any of our students to exist and hang out. And sometimes it's really quiet in there. It's a good study space. Sometimes they're playing games, they're planning for parties, whatever it may be, that it's a pretty fun spot to hang out in. So come visit us there. Unique to us at SCC, we have a health clinic. This is pretty rare for community colleges, but a great resource for our students, especially if you're not someone who has insurance. Maybe you need your flu shot and you're just not feeling well, you're having allergies. Go in and visit one of our nurse practitioners that's going to be cycling through on staff there and have it checked out. Usually they can do a good job of helping you make it through so you can really focus on your studies and not have to worry about not feeling well. Multicultural Student Services. This is another great office, much like the Pride Center, that's a good spot for just hanging out. Maybe you need to last minute print your paper. It exists because we have a lot of affinity groups on campus for our students to participate in that operate out of this office. Our student ambassadors often work here, the ones staffing the front desk. We just hope you feel like this is a good place. If you're not sure where else to go and you have a question, you can wander in here and we are happy to help you in the multicultural office. So please come check them out. Workforce transitions, if you're a student who is currently on unemployment, BFIT, TANF, different things like that, and you're needing help with figuring out how to utilize those benefits while also going to school, come see us in Workforce Transitions. One of our coordinators would love to chat with you. And then finally, disability support services. If you're a student in high school who's on an IEP or you had a 504 plan, and you're utilizing some of the support systems at your high school, for instance, and would like to continue those in college, we have a great variety of supports in place. that we can help you out with. You do need to make the first step in connecting with this office. They don't seek students out because they want to remain as anonymous and as discretionary as those students would like to be. So please do reach out to them. Usually if you can present them with a copy of those IEPs or those 504 plans, they can set you up with some accommodations here on campus. Everything from extra test time if it's needed to maybe, that perfect ergonomic chair that's just going to make sitting in class all day a lot more comfortable. They would love to hear from you. So keep moving through here. College experience. We have so many different things for you to get involved with on campus. We hope that you will take advantage of these. A lot of times it's hard to avoid some of these things that are happening on campus because they're happening every day. You can't move around without really seeing them occurring in the middle of campus mall or right outside of your classroom building, whatever it is. One of the important ones to our students are our student clubs and organizations. So a great example of one on SCC's campus is our car club. A lot of our students are participating in our automotive program, or some of them who aren't even participating in that program but are just really passionate about vehicles are participating in this club. And they're going to travel to do events. They're going to host specific events on campus and just get together to talk and plan about how they can really be invested in that thing that they're passionate about and they all share together. So it doesn't necessarily have to be something that relates to you and your program. Some of them do, but some of them don't. Like our Ghost Adventures Club or our Gaming Club. Those are ones that are just really to kind of fulfill you as a student outside of your academic career, which is really important. You don't want it to be all about school all the time, so find other ways to get involved. And then campus events, our student activities is a big office that's constantly planning different things on campus, whether it's a petting zoo, whether it's bringing in kittens from the shelter during the week before finals. Maybe it's a Nerf gun war or free snow cones on campus. All the time, they are finding ways to support our students and just make sure, we're here for you. And a lot of times it's all free stuff for you to take advantage of. So why wouldn't you? Very fun stuff to get involved with there. Athletics, we have some really talented student athletes on campus. We would love for you to attend our different sporting events that are going on, whether it's going out to watch a track meet or watching our volleyball team dominate. Whether they're playing at SCC or SFCC, it's going to be free for you to go in and watch as a student, and we would encourage you to do that. Our student athletes could always use more support. Campus bookstores, we have one on each campus. For me, this is the spot to go get my coffee, my morning snack, whatever it may be. But of course, it's also the spot for you to purchase your books each quarter if you need to, and also just go and ask questions, find some other materials to support you in your classes. Maybe you need a Scantron for a specific test that you're going to have to take that day, or you just want some SCC swag. Go in and visit us there. Dining options, don't worry, there are places to eat when you are on campus. We have a great dining hall that's going to have different items cycling through on the menu each and every day. We also have some unique options at SCC because we have both a culinary and a baking program, which means we have a full student-run restaurant on campus that you can eat on, very affordable and very delicious. And then also a bakery. We are so lucky to have these options. If you need to go in and get a dozen donuts that morning for your class, or maybe it's just a good espresso drink to get you through your morning, they can support you in doing that. So come by and see them. And again, super affordable ways to get your snack on if you need to. Career fairs. This is really cool. We have at least one big career fair every quarter at SCC, and usually over 40 different employers who are coming in and tabling and trying to connect with students that they want to hire because they know that SCC students are really qualified and make great candidates and employees. So if you're someone who's looking for work, whether it's full-time, you're about to wrap up your program, or you want a part-time gig, we've got all kinds of options for you. Put your best foot forward, bring in your resume, A lot of times you can even get credit in some of your classes if you go to these career fairs. So why not take advantage? We bring them to you on campus. Same thing with transfer events. If you're someone who's going to go on to get a 4-year degree after you graduate with your associates at SCC, we'll bring in a lot of other local institutions that would love to see you continue on there for a bachelor's degree. You can talk about degree planning. When do you need to apply? Are there scholarships for me? And what classes should I be taking right now to ensure that everything's going to transfer and it's going to be a smooth process? So lots of these things are really just to help you have a good experience with us and make it seamless. So how can I attend? There's lots of different options here. You can be a full-time student, I mentioned that already, or a part-time student. Maybe you can only take one class at a time. That's totally fine. It's up to you. You could go as slow or as fast as you would like to go. You can also take online classes. Right now, more than ever, we offer a really good variety of online classes or hybrid classes where you're going to have some options to be on campus if you want, or you can elect to just do online. And then again, we have several pathways for you. So if you're looking for something to transfer, like I just mentioned, or a professional technical pathway where you want to go straight to work after you complete that degree, and maybe the program is a little more hands-on, we'll talk about those different options a little bit more. But we always like to point out that certain programs do have specific requirements for you to gain entry into that program. So not every student can walk onto campus, apply to take classes with us and be a part of our nursing program. It's a very competitive RN program that we have. So you do have to complete some prerequisites and apply to get into that program before you'll be admitted and you'll be able to start taking nursing classes, as an example. A lot of our programs work that way. It's a lot of health science programs, for instance. But there's a ton more that don't have those kinds of requirements, and we make it really easy on you. So please check with us, ask those questions, and we'll make sure we keep you on track in your onboarding process. So just a quick example here. I mentioned we're on a quarter system. That's 3 quarters, fall, winter, and spring. And each of those quarters is going to be 12 weeks with a final week in there for your tests at the end of the quarter. That's a typical schedule for students who are attending full-time. We have students who take breaks. We have students who, take more than the max of what they can take with approval because they want to get done quicker. We have students who take our optional summer quarter, which is condensed and shortened just to squeeze it in there over the summer. We don't have all of our classes offered over the summer, but it's a good way if you need an extra class. Maybe you failed a class and you're behind now on your schedule. That could be a good way to catch up or get ahead. So the big question I get oftentimes, what kind of programs do we have at SCC? I wish we had more time today to really dive into this for you, but we do have a lot of good resources on our website for you to explore this. I'll talk about it a little bit later, as well as some staff in career services who would love to have a conversation with you about it and just make sure that whatever path you're on, it's a good fit for you. So I already talked a little bit about students who are transferring. Those students are often doing direct transfer degrees through SCC. And that just means that they know they're going to go on to that 4-year school after they finish 2 years with us, maybe longer, maybe less, depends on the type of student that you are. But oftentimes, those are Associate of Arts degrees that are going to take 2 years or 6 quarters to complete. You'll see I put 90 credits in there. That's about 15 credits per quarter if you're staying on track with your timeline. And academic counselors are going to be the best resource for planning in these degree plans because they're really broad. You have a lot of different options you can choose from and how to fulfill those particular course requirements and plans. So we really encourage you to work closely with an academic counselor to make sure you stay on track. And then of course, all of those credits are going to transfer to the 4-year public schools in the state of Washington, meaning you're going to transfer over with what we call junior status. You don't have to start over as a freshman. Your credits come with you. You're going to be a junior and just have those 2 more years to complete at the 4-year school before you have your bachelor's. And then our other really popular path at SCC in particular is our Associate of Applied Science degrees, as well as our certificates. So if you hear me say AAS, this is what I'm referring to. These are usually 6 or 7 quarters, or the shorter certificate options are often 3 quarters, but some even shorter. You are going to have a curriculum advisor. That's kind of your contact for the program, who's going to help you enroll in your classes and make sure you're progressing each and every quarter, answer questions, be the medium sometimes between you and your instructors. And these programs are really designed to place you straight into a career where you can start making money, a high demand fields oftentimes that these careers are placing you into. So it's a great thing to look into if you don't want to spend forever in school. And then I always like to mention we have some awesome apprenticeship options at SCC. Over 20 of those apprenticeships. We partner with local apprenticeship offices. Students still apply to SCC, but they are learning on the job with those apprenticeships. And on average, our students are making about 20 bucks an hour, which is great starting out. Again, these are often really high demand fields, so lots of job opportunities once you complete that apprenticeship option. And we also have a really cool skilled trades preparation class. If you're someone who's walking in with zero experience in anything even related to apprenticeship, maybe you're interested in being an electrician, but you know nothing about it, I would really recommend our STP class. It's 25 bucks to participate in 12 weeks. They're going to get you all sorts of safety certifications and the different materials and prep that you need in order to dive into those apprenticeships after you complete the class. So please do take advantage of that. And then, like I mentioned before, we have tons of different areas of study. We recommend starting with our What to Study page on our SCC website and navigating from there. You can look into our different areas of study, whether it's allied health programs or hands-on building and trades. Maybe you're more interested in the arts. You can look by program that way. And there's also a great list A to Z of our programs that you can search for in there too. So I'm interested. I like what I hear and I'm ready to move forward. How do I apply? You're going to navigate to our website. I threw it up there for you. You're going to complete a free application with us. It's always free, no money out of your pocket in order to do that. And then you're going to have to wait a little bit. Our admissions office does take usually a week or two to process your information. And once they do, they're going to send you a welcome letter. We call it a letter, but it's an email that they're going to send you saying, welcome to SCC. Here's the next steps you need to take before you can enroll in classes and become a student with us. So let's talk a little bit more about those next steps. One thing every one of our students has to complete is new student orientation. It's fully online. That's just all about helping you get acquainted with campus without actually having to come to campus to figure it out. You certainly can visit us on campus if that's your preference, but we're not going to make it mandatory that you come for a day and walk around and get all exhausted. I've done this before. It's nice that this is an online format. And then some programs, like I mentioned, are going to have additional requirements where you need things like math or English placement testing. Be aware of that. Most of our professional technical programs are not going to require that. So you may or may not have those items to take care of, but we'll let you know what you need. And then meet with that academic counselor or that curriculum advisor, depending on what path you're on, just to make sure you're tracking and you're making good progress, you're feeling comfortable about moving forward. And the final step, of course, would be to enroll in those classes. FAFSA, I always like to mention, this is the free application for federal student aid. It's an annual application. You're going to add SCC on your schools list on this application. And if you're starting in an off quarter, maybe winter instead of fall, make sure you're aware of the priority deadlines. Sooner is always better with this, as it does take our financial aid office some time to process your information and find out what you qualify for. Many of our students are not paying out of pocket 1 penny to attend school because they qualified for enough in grant funding to cover it through the FAFSA. That's why this is so important. That's going to take us to the end of our presentation today. Really quick hit, but let us know if you have any questions. We're going to open it up here. You can put them into the chat, or our staff will be willing to field those questions live. We're happy to help you. Again, I put our outreach email in here, as well as our campus tours email. So if you'd like to connect with us after this, we would love to have you either out to campus or talk a little bit further about how you can get started at SCC. Thanks again.